I've been using convertibles as my daily drivers for 4 years now in Canada, and that always surprises a lot of people because the weather here scares a lot of people away from convertibles due to the soft top in winter and the fact that they're typically RWD cars with low ground clearance. But something that always struck me as odd was the Jeep Wrangler, which is an all-wheel drive car that's also a soft top convertible, which many people do drive in the winter, which made me think that the concerns about convertibles in the winter were over-exaggerated. So I wanted to do a video on what convertible ownership is like in Canada, specifically our winters, and I won't really go over the RWD aspect though. You can find lots of information on that online, and in my experience, as long as you have the ground clearance to not plow the roads, you're fine with rear-wheel drive as long as you have winter tires, even on the snow, whether it's fresh or old. Before I get started, I wanted to ask you guys if you had any questions or experience with convertibles in suboptimal climates, and hopefully my viewers can help each other out to answer your questions, or I'll respond to answer your questions too. So the first elephant in the room is obviously snow buildup. I garage park my convertibles, but I've had a lot of snow build up due to parking while working or driving in massive snowstorms. And albeit it's not an overnight amount of snow, I have had no problems at all, even for my soft top fabric convertible. Hardtop convertibles like a Mercedes SL or my RF Miata have no problems at all and can basically be treated as a fixed roof car like a coupe, except however for the drains, especially if you park under a tree or somewhere that can get a lot of debris on the car. You need to be on top of inspecting and cleaning your drains so that water doesn't end up flooding into your car. With regards to parking outside during the winter, I've spoken to soft top convertible owners, specifically Mustang and Miata owners who do park their convertibles outside in the winter. And what they told me was that while you won't encounter a catastrophic collapse from the weight of the snow or something, the constant moisture from the snow melting and freeze-thaw cycles can accelerate wear on the top and increase the risk of damage to the rear window when you clear the snow off. So they recommend using a waterproof car cover to protect the soft top from the moisture of the snow. The second elephant in the room is going to be temperature. I was surprised researching common concerns online that people were worried about the top leaking heat. Because with the top up, there's no noticeable difference in temperature compared to a normal car in my experience. And honestly, because convertibles usually have smaller cabins, what people overlook is that they're usually quicker to heat up or cool down than normal cars, with the only exceptions I've found being EVs with heat pumps. Now, I don't want to sound rude when I say this, but I notice many people who drive convertibles are on the older side, and I know older people do have more issues with regulating body temperature and feeling cold. So this can be a double-edged sword, because for me as a younger guy in his 20s, I can drive top down in early and late winter when the temps are about -5 Celsius or above. But conversely, I overheat a bit in the summers when the temps are above 28 Celsius. Although I can still handle it until around like the mid-30s, but after that, the top is going up, and that means like for the peak of the summer, I'm basically not using the convertible all that much. I think the sun in the winters and summers is something that people don't think about enough, because if the sun is beating down on you, it can make the cold temps in winter much more bearable, while hot temps in the summer become much more insufferable. However, writing this script, I'm realizing that I'm in a minority group that doesn't have to worry too much about sun damage. And I think if you're Caucasian or concerned about aging and skin cancer, you might actually have the opposite view and want to avoid driving on really sunny days. The aerodynamics of the car and modern AC systems with heated steering and seats keep the climate of the interior cabin insulated to a point where even with the top down, the temps are pretty stable. But the bigger the gap between the internal and external temps are, the more you'll feel the cold or hot in the temperatures. Driving slow means less wind gets in the cabin, which means your cabin will stay warmer in the winters but hotter in the summers. While driving fast will chill you pretty quickly in the winters, but cool you in the summers, at least until the point where it gets very hot, and it just sort of feels like you're being baked in a microwave oven. With regards to noise, even luxury convertibles like my Porsche Boxster will have more rattles and noise compared to their coupe counterparts, but it's nothing too bad in my opinion. And in fact, I think driving windows down in a normal car is much worse than top-down convertibles because of the wind buffeting from the window pillars and changing cabin air pressure, making it harder to breathe. I wanted to issue one word of caution though. Many people advise against driving with the top down on the highway long term, since all the noise can cause hearing damage, at least without earplugs. But I actually don't notice any issues. probably because I'm a long-term raver, so my hearing is probably concerningly damaged already, and I just got used to it and don't notice it anymore. When the top is up is where it really differs from car to car, and I can only attest to modern convertibles, but in my limited experience, luxury convertibles aren't that different from regular economy cars in cabin noise. Think something like a Porsche 718 or a Mercedes SL compared to like a Camry or Honda Civic. Give or take a small difference from model to model, but really in my opinion, it doesn't matter as much as on the economy convertible cars, where, for example, the Mazda Miata hardtop was very quiet, similar to a regular car, while the soft top was much more noticeably louder than the normal car. And one that really surprised me was the Jeep Wrangler, since it's used as a daily driver, and for me, with how loud that car is and how it's targeted towards practicality, that's kind of a deal breaker for me. You know, not on a sports car where it's fun and you want to hear the sound all the time, but for a daily driver where I just want to cruise, that car was very loud. So if you could see something like this bothering you, I'd really recommend a test drive before you buy. One downside I unfortunately found out about right away that I never heard anyone else mention was that if you drive near scenic waterfronts where you'd want to take a cruise, convertibles are actually pretty sketchy because bugs can enter your cabin and splat against you, then pile up in the interior of your car. Once you include days with rain, snow, too hot or too cold temperatures, a convertible has to be top up. And I'm assuming convertible buyers value the open air experience or wide field of view. So this is a huge problem in a daily driver car, because yeah, you can still drive the car, but for over half the year, you'll be worse off in these aspects that you cared about than a normal car with a good sunroof, which was a huge advantage of having a two-car solution. While we're talking about the open air experience and all the visibility, this is a controversial opinion that a lot of people argue about, but as an aside, I would say that hardtop convertibles like the Corvette coupes or the RF Miata, which have large C-pillars that block visibility, are a downgrade to the true convertible experience. And for me personally, it's a trade-off I wouldn't make again. I think the last two things on people's minds are security and maintenance. Security is a really regional one, and I personally worried about people breaking into the soft top at first, but thankfully it seems to be a rare experience here in Toronto. And realistically, if people want to break in, they'd smash your window for access way more easily anyways, just like they do on regular cars. You'll have to maintain the soft top too, of course. If any of the fabric tears, or if you have a convertible with an automatic top and the mechanism for putting the top up and down breaks. But it's a few $1,000s and these tops should last at least a decade, so I'd personally consider it a minor expense. Needless to say, I love the feeling of a convertible on a nice, perfect temperature day, and the more freeing feeling of a convertible with the wind blowing on my skin compared to a regular car with more pillars, but also without the safety concerns of being on a motorcycle. I love the convertible, and right now, because I'm making this video in April when the weather is getting better, it's hard to imagine selling it. But once the winter comes around again, I do struggle with the lost visibility and would prefer a car with a sunroof instead. I'm not trying to change your mind one way or another on convertibles. I don't even know where my mind is at on this because it's so seasonal. But for sure, the perfect two-car solution for me would be a sunroof on a normal car, you know, let's say a Taycan, and a soft-top convertible on my second car. Maybe another Miata. That's all from me for today though. So if you liked hearing from me, please leave a like and a subscribe so I can see you all next time. Bye!